Hey, welcome everybody to Beyond the Siren Chiefs podcast. And today we have Chief Bramble with us, and we want to give you guys some information today. Know there's a lot of things going on, and we want to give you the information straight from the Chiefs to dispel any rumors. So, Chief Bramble, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And let's get right into it. What's going on with the budget?
Hey, good to be here, Greg. Thanks for doing this. I know you're not just another pretty face. You you really are working to make this place better than you found it as well, and we all sure appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so the budget, a lot of things to talk about there. To try to keep it concise, I would point you to the recording of the work study session that the council had with staff last night. That would have been the evening of Tuesday, May 6th. When you go on the town website in the archives, search that, and you can pull up all the supporting documentation as well that the council had available to them. Long story short, is a 5-hour meeting and went till 8 p.m. From 3 to 8 last night. Recommend probably watching like the first hour and then skipping to the last hour and a half. That would probably give you the best bang for your buck as far as time goes, but it'd be worth your time to see some of the struggles that this council is dealing with. As you saw on their last presentation from a month or two ago, the revenue line and the expense line are just about meeting right now. So what that means is there's no margin. There's no margin. There's no cushion for any unforeseen events to happen. So that's not a good plan for our personal finances or for definitely city finances with the operating budget of $35 million. We got to have some reserves there. So
Sure, absolutely.
So council is working very, very hard to try to decide and go through every department in the city to see if there's anything that they can adjust or change or eliminate if it's not necessary. They have indicated last night that they don't want to hurt or touch public safety. They were very clear about that. However, as it depends on what number they're looking for, right? Like we just don't know what happens once they start going through that process. But I would say it's just like every year. There's never enough money to go around, and this is just part of the process as you get new council members that transition from a candidate that's running for office and to a valued elected official that's knowledgeable about current affairs. This is just part of it. And I think this is a healthy discussion for them to have and a healthy thing for them to do as they dive into the mechanics of how our city operates and works. They're going to see what we already know very, very quickly, that we operate with very, very little margin. There is no fat in any of our departments, and we need more resources, not less. So I think that's going to become very apparent to them quickly.
Sure, and if there's one thing I can reiterate to everybody out there, every fire department member, I've been around the fire service for 27 years, and in my old organization, the exact same thing happened every single year, right? We would go in, we're never going to have enough money. It's a pipe dream to think that we're ever going to get everything that we wanted, but every year we don't have enough money. We're going to be short this year. Then as it approaches, because we're approaching the end of the fiscal year in July, as things kind of stabilize for finances for the town, at the end of June or when they start to cut off purchases, that'll stabilize things. We'll get a final number as we go into July. And hopefully that number is a little bit higher than they estimated. You never know. It usually is in my experience, and then things will calm down again for the next year. So hopefully that's what happens, and we'll just ride this out.
Yeah, I think that's really where we're at. My understanding is, revenues are down quite significantly from where we expected them to be, but we also didn't have any snow, and it was definitely telling. That's one of the theories or hypotheses, I guess, that because we didn't get the snow, we didn't get the people coming up out of the valley, spending their money at Walmart, buying a tank of gas, buying meals, having a hotel room. We just didn't have that this year, and that could very well be a significant part. When I drive through town just today, going to lunch, it's packed again. So I'm as much as that traffic sucks, we need that traffic to come through our town and to spend their money here. And I think that flow is happening again.
Good. Good deal. Good deal.
Just to recap again, it looks like my current understanding is that with the budget that was presented last night, there's still an ECI. As of last night, there was still an ECI. So basically, what we would call a cost of living increase. Still a cost of living increase that was factored into that budget. We don't know how much at this point. I'm sure that's kind of slide depending on what number the city needs to meet as far as what kind of rainy day fund that they or margin that they want to have. No new positions were funded at this point as of the point of that meeting. Obviously, that can change if council decides that a priority in a certain department is higher. So that being said, we're still hiring for our open firefighter position. We all know Sid Pierce left,
Right.
and we just completed a firefighter testing process. I want to give real props to Chad and his team, Travis Kilborn, all the guys that participated in our recruit hiring process. That work is so very valuable, and we got a really good slate of candidates to pick from now
Good.
to move through our process and fill vacancies as they occur.
Good. Good. Well, hopefully not too many more vacancies that we have to fill in the future. But if we do, we know we have a good process and a good list
That's
to
right.
fulfill those. So so to keep this going, some other things going on in town. What is happening with dispatch?
Oh, dispatch. Boy, we have experienced something in dispatch this last week that has not occurred, boy, maybe since ever.
Wow.
Since maybe when I hired, we had when I came on late 90s, early 2000s, we had a dispatch manager, but it was a police communications manager. What happened this week was so very significant. I want to just really give kudos to Battalion Chief Winton, to Commander Haynes at the police department, to Chief Staub for his work and making sure that this happened. We hired Deanne McLeod. She was the communications manager out of Kingman Regional Dispatch. So a very similar, smaller town communication system. She has more than a decade of experience in that system. She retired just last year at the end of the year as their manager, and vast level of experience in a small system. She's coming from a system where the dispatch center was owned by the fire department, but then dispatched the police department. So
Right.
almost like the inverse of what we have. But we met her at the P-Rock meeting, introduced her yesterday to all of the fire chiefs from the area, and just right away, that first conversation, she stepped up and was talking and operating at a level that we have not seen in a long, long time. So
Oh, that's
I'm
fantastic.
very, very excited to see her on board. Right now, she's working a 5-month stint. Right now, she has 5 months to get a list of things done that Chief Staub is asking her to complete, and we'll see where that goes from there. If there's another mechanism that we can use to keep her on for longer, or if she orchestrates a process to hire a new communications manager.
Okay.
So very, very excited. I'm looking forward to reporting some beautiful things, and you should be hearing good things
Good.
on the end of that radio talking to dispatch.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it. Kind of keeping this thing going here. What is going on with our RMS project, our records management system project that you've been working diligently on?
Oh man, we had a whole team working on this. It's so amazing. It's really great to see things finally happening. We originally put the team together in 2020. So 5 years ago, we looked at RMS, but we didn't have IT on board. We didn't have the budgetary capacity. We just weren't able to close the loop 5 years ago. And to be fair, 5 years ago, we didn't even look at First Due as a vendor. They just weren't there yet either. So, who knows if maybe what happened was supposed to happen, but here we are 5 years later. First Due was the top of the forced ranked process that we had. So we had First Due, then it was ESO, and then Image Trend, with Tyler Technologies rounding out the 4 vendors that we looked at. First Due, just in communication with them today. We had papers signed as of April 31st, and their implementation team is already plugged into IT and dispatch with our new communications manager
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
help facilitate work in the back end to get First Due access to our data packages. So I'm so excited. The plan is we have a limited amount of time to
Right.
get this done, and target-wise, we got about 40 days to have the records management portion and our scheduling modules up and running so that we have about a 2-week period from June 15th to June 30th to test it.
Sure.
You really get familiar with it with a go live of July 1st. So
That's so exciting because I know the scheduling program. Uh, we were talking this morning earlier that it possibly is going to fit into the payroll system, the new payroll system that the town wants to go with. So it could be a seamless transition with First Due and our scheduling program and payroll and records management as far as fleet services. What Daniel does. Basically, we're getting the entire package, everything that First Due has to offer. I know I am extremely happy with that because of what I do. My records management, all the hard work that we've done over the last 2 years is now just going to seamlessly kind of fit into what everything else is going on in the department. So I'm really happy with that. And speaking of that, what's happening with our fleet? A couple of guys are going back to Florida, I believe.
yeah, so next week we got Chief Staub going back with Captain Jameis Smith, Captain Ritchie, and Engineer Zick are all heading back to Ocala, Florida to look at the pre-build of our new engine. So that's where you sit down with the engineers at E1 and you say, this is our spec, this is our build, this is what we want to do different, this is what's changed. One of the major things that's changed in the last couple of years since we got our last E1s is Cummins discontinued the X12 motor.
Right.
So they discontinued that smaller big block, the 12-liter big block motor, and I think we got to go to more of a hopped up high performance 10-liter motor. Not ideal, but it's a far less expensive option than going to the 15-liter.
Sure.
Many thousands of dollars difference there in cost. As much as I would love the 15-liter big block to go up and down those hills, it's hard to justify the money with the cost increases that we're seeing. And this is even before tariffs, right? We don't even know what tariffs are going to do to the cost of these.
Yeah,
engines.
it's actually it's a lot of foresight that locked us in to this contract earlier this year or last year, and now we're locked in. E1 gets to eat or hopefully gets to eat all of the tariffs if there are any. Knock on wood. Yeah, exactly. So so that's good. That's exciting. That means that the engine is going to be starting production soon, and I know it'll take another couple of years to get it built and get it delivered here. But this is the start of a big process.
Yeah, well, hopefully less than a year. So
Less than a year.
once they have this meeting, they'll come back with a pretty good date on when they're going to go back for the acceptance visit. So my understanding currently, at least, is less than a year from
Fantastic.
from this day we can have that new engine here.
That'll be a nice addition to the department and well needed.
Pretty cool, yeah. We talk about leaving this place better than we found it. In just this year, 2025, we will have an RMS system like we've never had before, integrated in ways that none of us have experienced, at least in the Payson system. We will have a dispatch center that is better than it ever has been, and we will, for the first time ever, have a matched fleet of engines, a consistent fleet that we have never had as long as I've been here. So
that it's actually I just got kind of goosebumps. It makes me feel good. You guys, everybody's been on board with this and has worked so hard. So it's a guys, pat yourselves on the back because there's a lot of good things going on in this organization. So speaking of good things going on, what do we have going on with training? Chief?
Yeah, good deal. Before I go on with that, just want to give you an update on the ladder.
Yep.
We placed that order for the ladder at the same time we did the engine last year, and my understanding is the build time has shortened a little bit. So from a true 48 months, what we were told last year, at this point now it's down to 36 or less.
Okay.
So 3 years out or less for a brand new Pierce platform.
Oh man.
As of the meeting yesterday, now obviously this could change, but it's still in the budget plan. It's still funded. They're still planning on it. And it sounds like they're going to lease this one as opposed to purchasing it outright like they're doing the engine. It's just so much money they got to do the lease purchase on it.
Yep.
So that's super exciting and still going with that Pierce platform. Now there is options if we find an amazing used platform and we're looking at a 100-foot platform. We saw the limitations of a 75-foot stick the other day when Hell's Gate went to do the flag. A 75-foot stick doesn't work well on an 85-foot flagpole. So
right, exactly. No, that's very exciting. A new ladder truck that's quite an accomplishment for for the town and for the organization as well.
So fleet, no training. So moving on to training, the appreciate all the work from the training team and for the BCs. We spent about 6 months going through the captain's task book. We get we started with these task books in 2010. So 15 years ago, we joined with the Eastern Chiefs. So all these task books come out of the Eastern Chiefs Association. Timber Mesa has today a very well-funded training division. They got 4 people, a chief, a captain, a secretary, and a firefighter assigned to their training division. And they provide a good amount of training to that eastern side. And they have the horsepower to be able to devote to updating these PQWs to the new JPRs. So our past practice has been to piggyback on their work and then change them and modify them for our area as needed, which we've done. So appreciate all the work on the training team and the BCs that did that. That's now published. That's in the share drive. If you go under admin, training team, PQWs, you can see all our PQWs right there. If you think that you might want to promote one day, I would highly recommend you go to that drive and you look at all those PQWs. Everything is very clearly laid out on your pathway on the classes and training and education that you need to have. If you're a firefighter and you think you might want to be a BC one day, you'd be well advised to go in and look at those task books to look at what you need
Sure,
to do.
because this is career based. This isn't just something that you look at that and you're going to start tomorrow and finish in a couple of weeks.
Right.
This is actually can take a couple of years to finish some of them.
Yeah, and in fact, that was a major change. Our last captain's task book, we gave 4 years, and while that was lenient, very, very, very lenient and generous in some ways, it shot us in the foot in other ways because in 48 months, you tend to forget things and you
Sure.
tend to let things go, and you're not staying on task as much as we lowered that down to 2 years. So once you open up that captain's book, you got 2 years to crank that thing out and get done. Which we feel that the team all feels looking at the new requirements, it's very, very realistic.
Good.
But you got to be intentional about it.
Yes, absolutely.
And I just want to take the opportunity to reiterate our task books have been around for more than 3 decades. It's a process of continuous quality improvement. We're constantly modifying and updating these things to make them work better for our organization, and they're not going anywhere. Our members are well advised to understand that these task books are part of our training program. They're part of our culture, and we will continue to be using task books. So please continue to work on them, get them done, and continue to move up on your career ladder with those books.
Fantastic. So, guys, I say this with the greatest sincerity. Go out there, get these task books. Start now. I don't care if you just came on as the rookie firefighter. Look and see what the requirements are going to be for promotion down the road. Things happen fast in any organization. People retire, people leave for other reasons, and the opportunity, if you're ready, the opportunity is going to present itself that you can promote maybe when you least expect it. But be prepared, be ready to do this. And these task books, we had them in my previous organization, and they're just fantastic preparation tools to get you ready for that promotional that promotional position that you have the opportunity to take.
Absolutely. I would give props to Captain Labonte. I remember in a training meeting with him some time ago and talking about some of the classes that we require. And that's probably the biggest thing that you can do. If you're a firefighter and you think you might want to promote one day, and even if you don't think you want to promote, just always make every day a training day, continue to perfect your craft. And we do that by continuous education and continuous lifelong learning. So look at those task books, take the fire inspector class, take the fire officer class, take your leadership classes. Even if you don't think you're going to want to promote, those classes will do nothing but improve your performance and your job satisfaction, I would submit, as you go through your career. But anyway, going back to Labonte, as a captain, he had completed almost every class for his captain's book as a firefighter, which I would encourage everybody else to look at doing a similar thing because those classes don't come up every day.
No.
When you see a class come up, jump on it. We have training money budgeted for many of these classes, and put in a training request. If you see one of those classes pop up, jump on it, and we'll get you there if at all possible.
Yeah, a lot of these classes cycle every 2 to 3 years. So,
Right.
if it's out there, if you even have the slightest bit of interest, or if it's on your task book, just put in for it, get it done, get that signed off, and go on down the road. But because you may not have the opportunity for another couple of years.
Absolutely. And just to cap our task book conversation, one of the major changes we had, besides bumping it down to a 2 year time frame, is it seemed the fire inspector one class was the hard class to get. And now it's no longer fire inspector one and two at the state level.
Right,
Now it's just fire inspector.
right.
So that's going to be swapped back and forth every year between fire inspector and plans review, I
Yes,
understand, at
that's
fire
correct.
school.
Hmm.
So again, it's only once every 2 years that's offered, and that's usually the only one around the state that you're going to be able to find. And we heard you. There was a number of our ranked officers that still were trying to get that class. So we found the classes in Fire Rescue One Academy that gave you the basic nuts and bolts that we want you to have, in addition to the training that you, Greg, and Kevin give us as an organization on how to do inspections. Those two things combined, we feel confident that our members are going to have the level of training. Now that they're out there doing company inspections, we
Right.
have to train them on doing them. So
Yeah,
we didn't want to
absolutely.
eliminate that requirement, but we understood it was hard to get. So we modified and gave you some options on other ways to get that done.
Yeah, trying to give everybody the opportunity to get that promotion if they want.
Absolutely.
Which and guys, if I can say one thing to you, it's just go out there and get better every day. Um, be the champion of your craft. This is your craft. This organization, this department, and if you can be the best at your craft, this is just a fantastic job. You will enjoy it for your entire career. Speaking of that, there's a really great book. Chief Bramble and I attended a class last week, and he brought back, or we were a book was recommended to us, and Chief really liked the book. He got it for himself. Dan, go ahead and tell us about this 30 fires that you must know about.
Yeah, this is a book by Chief Goldfeder, Frank Lieb, Gordon Graham's involved in this book as well. For those of you who know about him, and hopefully you've heard the name and have seen him at some point in your career, either online or in person. But they have experienced similar things that we have in our organization. That's it. As we bring on a new generation of firefighters, are we remembering and learning about and paying attention to the fires that have happened in the past and the lessons that were learned? We want to make sure that we're doing that. And I know I need to do a better job as a training officer here at the fire department, and all of us as fire officers need to remember these lessons that are literally written in blood in most cases. There's no need for us to go and make the same mistakes that have been made in the past. We should be making new ones, not old ones. Unfortunately, to a large extent, we haven't figured out new ways to kill firefighters. As you read through this book of 30 fires you must know, there's a lot of firefighters. There's 3 from Arizona, 3 fires specifically that are talked about. We got the Southwest Supermarket, Yarnell, and the McMicken Energy Storage Facility there on the west side of the valley from our state. Anyway, the 27 other fires from around the country. Lessons learned. I like the way the book is written from first-person points of view from people that were actually on scene. And at the end of each chapter is like a on-shift training guide or lessons learned, things that we can talk about at the company and shift level on, hey, when we see this and that slide is going to pop into our head, let's not do this, or let's make sure we do this because we don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, absolutely. By learning from our past, we won't make those same mistakes in our future. And some of these fires are old, but some of these fires shaped the fire service the way it is even to today. Hundreds of years later, these fires, or 100+ years later, some of these fires still dictate what we do in fire prevention, how we fight fires, why things are on our trucks.
Right.
It's really amazing to know our history, and this is a great book. I've paged through it, And thank you for getting that for all the guys. I think it's going to be a really good read for the department.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate Chief Stop for funding the training division where we recognize opportunities like this and we have the funds there to be able to make the move when the opportunity presents itself. So we got books for every shift. So all your BCs are being given these books for them to read first, and then they'll be passing it down the chain to their officers and hopefully facilitating the on shift training with them. So my understanding is there was many more than 30 fires that were submitted as having lessons, and these 30 fires are all fires that have happened since 1975.
Okay.
So you think of like Our Lady of Angels and the Beverly Hills Supper Club,
Right.
Coconut Grove. We don't even touch those in this
Right.
book. So my understanding is they're actually going to have a part two
Oh.
coming up because they have so many fires that we need to make sure that we're remembering and learning from.
Sure. Sadly, that's a sad note, but it's gonna be a good book, I'm sure, as well. And like I said, we learn from our history, from our past, so we don't repeat it in the future.
If we're masters of our craft, we certainly do.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, Chief, thanks for sitting down with me today. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss, or is that gonna do it for today?
I think that'll do it. Chief Staub is out of the office next week. I'll be acting chief while he's gone, and we'll just continue to try to make this place better than we found it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And guys, be safe out there and have a great day.